And now it is time to welcome our first guest today in a segment we call Dog Mom Biz. Jessica Williams is the creative force behind the blog You Did What with Your Weiner? It is a blog dedicated to debunking and breaking widely held stereotypes about her favorite dog breed, Dachshunds. Now, of course, Jessica is passionate about enriching the lives of Dachshunds through hiking and camping and traveling, and of course, through them having the right mental stimulation. Jessica joins us live from the beautiful state of Washington. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Well, I know you have a wonderful sense of humor, but I want to know the whole story. How did you come to love dogs?
Well, I always loved dogs. I grew up on a urban farm before it was cool.
Sure.
We had all kinds of animals, and we had cats and dogs, and I loved them all equally. I was more partial to cats. And then when I got older, I just couldn't have the responsibility of a dog. And so it wasn't until I was in college in my geology program and I saw people bringing their dogs to our camps to hike with us that I just completely fell in love and was obsessed and wanted one as a hiking buddy.
And then you became a dog mom yourself. And it's like,
Yep.
Once you experience that kind of love, you're hooked, right?
Yes. I could never go back. I can't imagine.
That is great. Now, you have such a fascinating background. I want to know about this transition from you from environmental services to having this very popular blog about Dachshunds. How did all this happen?
Yeah, gosh, well, accident, I guess.
Sure.
A lot of things in life happen that way. But
Yes.
so when I was in college in geology is when I decided I was obsessed. All of a sudden, switch, cat wanted a dog. And then when I graduated, I moved in with a friend who had a Dachshund. And I actually wanted a Rhodesian Ridgeback, but still couldn't have one at that point. And so her Dachshund kind of became my Dachshund, and she ended up working out of town a lot. And I traveled all the time, and someone had to watch him. So I always just took him with me, hiking, camping, running, visiting friends and family. And so he kind of became my companion. And eventually he became mine for good when we moved apart. And he was the only dog for 8 years. And then I adopted a second Dachshund, and that's when I started my blog.
That is so sweet. And what is it about this specific breed that just you're so drawn to and you love so much?
Well, like I said, I originally wanted a big dog, and it wasn't because I had anything against small dogs. They just weren't really on my radar because I wanted an adventure companion. But when I ended up with the Dachshund, I literally looked down at him one day and was kind of like, well, it's you and me. And I didn't really know. Although I hadn't thought of a small dog as an adventure companion, I didn't realize the stigma against them and how many people didn't think they could be active. And so I just started doing things with him, and he loved it. And then I realized I don't have to have a big dog, and a small dog is so much more convenient. And I just loved their personality. They're very athletic. They're very curious. They're very motivated.
They always, are a great conversation starter too. I don't think I've ever met a person that doesn't look at a Dachshund and go like, oh, wow, they are just so unique and fun. Oh, it's great. So you wanted to learn WordPress and you decided to start a blog. What was that process like for you?
Well, I was in a program, so I was working as an environmental scientist, and I was working within my department on internal and external communications, which included revamping the website. And outside of that, I was taking a life coaching program, become a life coach. And this was early on, before WordPress was the platform to use. And the instructors kept saying, when you build a website, it has to be on WordPress. That's the new biggest thing. And I've always been an early adopter. So I had that in the back of my mind that I have to figure out how to use this thing, but I wasn't ready to launch a coaching website. And then when I adopted my second Dachshund, I took her for a hike the day after we adopted her because we needed to prove if she was going to fit in or not, if we needed to modify her lifestyle, and she loved it. And so that day I just decided I'm going to learn how to use WordPress. I'm going to start a blog and call it You Did What with Your Weiner.
There you go. And aren't you so glad you did? Because it's wildly popular. It's amazing. So, just talk to us about that. I mean, obviously that's a unique name. I mean, people just kind of snicker. It's something that captures attention. But then once you start the blog and you get it going, this is so much more than just capturing attention. You want to, debunk any stereotypes and things out there. And there's so much on your website to enjoy, on your blog, I should say.
Yeah, well, I've been blogging for a long time, so there is a lot of material on there. So yeah, I started the blog, and I basically just started, like I said, to learn how to use WordPress. Blogging was still in its infancy back then. I was still considered a very early adopter as a blogger, and I want to share my videos and pictures, or my pictures and my stories, with friends and family without posting it all to my Facebook feed. It's like separate it, another bucket for it to be in.
Sure.
So that's really how it started. But almost right away, I realized how Dachshund owners are really fanatic about Dachshunds. And
yes,
a lot of people came into my blog because we were one of the first Dachshund blogs online. And so people were drawn to that, but they were drawn to our stories and our adventures. And even if they weren't adventures themselves, they kind of wanted to see what we were doing and where we were going. And I really just built a community around that. It's about building trust and finding your people. Not all Dachshund owners like my style, but you can't be for everybody. So
not everybody's ever going to love you. You need to be comfortable in your own skin and have a good time, right, Jessica? I love it about you. I love that authenticity, and I love that fun, Also, a lot of times people think that Dachshunds are more like indoor pets, or, they're better for people who have maybe mobility issues. But what I love is that you shine a light on, look at all these crazy, fun, adventurous things that Dachshunds can do too. Give us some examples. You said hiking, run through some of the interesting story highlights or some of the most popular.
Well, yeah, our main activity is hiking. We also camp. But when I say hiking, adventure means different things to different people. And when I say we're going to adventure and I say we're going to hike, even today, 10 years later, it's getting new followers all the time. When I say I'm going to hike, I can tell by their responses a lot of the time to questions I have around it that they're picturing a flat stroll in the wood for 3 miles. But my first and second Dachshund, I'm on my second and third right now. So that the one in the middle, she's still here. But my first and second Dachshund, they both hiked a trail with me, which is one of the hardest trails in the Pacific Northwest. And it's over 1,800 feet of elevation gain a mile. It's only about 2.5 miles. And they hiked that twice. I thought that I wasn't going to make it, but they acted like it was no big deal. But I have other friends that take their Dachshunds out rock climbing. Obviously, the Dachshunds aren't rock climbing. They hike in, and they, train dogs, they call them. They hang out while their owners climb and everything.
Yeah, and we can also have adventure in the mundane, right? Like go into the post office or go into the store. I mean, why not highlight it and just
adventure
take them as we go.
Define it. Yeah.
Right. Now, we know that Dachshunds as a breed can sometimes have back issues. So do we have to be careful when we're out adventuring with them? What's your take on that?
Yes
and no. There we go.
It is true. Dachshunds are the breed most prone to back injuries. And it's caused primarily by something called intervertebral disc disease. So it's a spinal disease, and it's related to the dwarfism gene. There's a few dogs who aren't just shrunken down versions. They actually they have a dwarf. I can't pronounce it.
It's really interesting.
I can't pronounce it, but it's got a fancy scientific name.
Sure.
Yeah. And that makes their spine, the dwarfism gene can come with this disease that makes their spine age prematurely and become brittle. So that is something to be aware of. 25% of Dachshunds do have an injury. Now, the interesting part, and part of how I'm breaking stereotypes, is when people hear that, they think, oh no, I don't want my Dachshund to have a back injury, so I must protect them, keep them inactive, quiet in the house, laying around, things like that. And in reality, that's almost making it a higher risk that something's going to happen.
Sure.
Because they need to stay strong, a healthy weight, they need to stay fit, they need to have strong spine supporting muscles. So it's actually better to let them be active and kind of let them live on the edge, you might say.
Yes,
so that's
I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Sure, it makes total sense. I mean, honestly, we want to be careful and responsible dog owners, right? But if we're all honest, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. You only live once. So enjoy life with your animal, right? Be safe, but don't be afraid to have fun and get out there and enjoy life. I love that you have that attitude. Like, here are the things we can do versus the things we can't do. I think that is an awesome attitude. So, Jessica, who would find your blog interesting? Do you have a certain demographic that's drawn to the blog?
I have a wide variety. To be honest, most people that follow me aren't actually active themselves, so I have a lot of the content around hiking and camping. A lot of people don't do that and aren't interested in starting that. But there is a small fraction of people who find my blog because they'd like a small dog that can be active, and so they see examples on my blog and then end up following me for tips and advice. But the majority of my audience, they might travel with their dog. But a lot of them are just, homebodies kind of. They like to stay local and hang out, but they really care about their dachshund's health. So I cover a lot of health topics, training, behavior, that information also. And it kind of crosses over. You have to have a healthy dachshund that's pretty well trained in order to go out and travel and hike and camp.
Makes total sense. And I know that you've inspired a lot of people to go out and get a dachshund of their very own. And I'm also really happy that you're seeing so much success with your website. With your blog, I should say, excuse me. What do you attribute to this visibility and also like the number of visitors that you're actually seeing?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is the number one thing is building a community around kind of your beliefs or your information, your message. But that involves, building trust. You have to find the right people. I do that. I have an in-person Dachshund club that I started here in Washington State. I'm in the process of expanding it to be national. So some people find me that way. A lot of people find me from just Google search or social media. We're on Facebook, very active community there, and then also on Instagram. And so that kind of funnels everybody in. And then often they're impressed with the professionalism of my website and the variety of information that I offer. And I've been studying Dachshunds full time. I left my government job in 2012. My job is studying Dachshunds. I've been doing it full time for over 10 years.
Wow, you go, girl. Do what you love and love what you do. And I love too that you have this kind of coaching mentality about you. You wanted to be a life coach, and now you're even a blogging coach, right? At times. So maybe say someone's watching and they're thinking, oh, I've always wanted to start a blog about my golden doodle or my cockapoo or my German Shepherd. What advice do you have for dog moms watching who might want to do that?
So you want to decide which platform you want to use. You say blog, but I know you mean that could be microblog, which is social media, or a podcast, or YouTube. Find your platform. It's got to be something you love and that you can stick with and that doesn't frustrate you to use. Then think of what kind of content you're going to offer your audience. Kind of envision who your ideal audience is and speak directly to them when you're writing the content or producing it. And you want to try and be unique. Like, there's a lot of Dachshund information on the internet. I'm unique in that I try and say it like it is. I try and present information that's a little bit outside of the norm regurgitated information that you're finding out. So, I always tell people, I tell my blog coaching clients, think of Cosmopolitan magazine or some magazine that's been around for decades. And you look at an edition 30 years ago, a lot of the topics are exactly the same as you would today see them on the shelf, but there's a different spin on that information. So your idea, whatever you're going to start, you want to put your own spin on it, your own lens. That's what makes you unique, not necessarily the information, but how you're presenting the information and how you see the world in pet care and being a dog mom.
Makes total sense. You want to capture that attention, but then you want to keep it, right? And then we don't want to waste people's time because there are just so many options out there. So such great advice today, Jessica. I've loved chatting with you. Is there anything else that you'd like to add for any dog moms watching today?
Just if I wanted to say overarching, like if you have a dream, work and make it happen. Mine all really started even before the coaching and the wanting to learn WordPress and stuff. I want to figure out how I can stay home with my dogs all the time and devote my life to their health and care and spend as much time hiking with them as I could. And now you're looking at me. I started my blog in 2010. So it takes a long time to build. But it's a long-term plan. Come up with a long-term plan. You can make it happen. You only live, like you said, you only live once. Go after what makes you happy. So.
And have that patience and have that endurance. I love it.
Persistence, yes.
And that persistence, all of it. We need it all. But just do it. Life is too short. Jessica Williams, author of the popular Dachshund blog, You Did What With Your Weiner? You are a joy. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care, Jessica.
Right.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Do us a favor. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more informative and awesome Dog Mom News content. And be sure to click that notification bell too to stay up to date with all our new content in real time. You'll also want to be sure to join us for our live stream each Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.